The power of the ocean is both awesome and frightening. On Wednesday, I was sent a video of a young couple in Sochi, Russia, entering the water's edge when massive waves came and swallowed the 20-year-old woman. The man tried to save her, but it was too late. In 2024, storms are causing aeroplanes to descend rapidly. One Singaporean airline flight recently descended around 54 meters in about 4.6 seconds. One passenger described what happened. It was terrifying, just like going down a vertical roller coaster. While people in Ireland and England are this month complaining of coldness, much of the world has been reeling due to excessive temperatures. India has been in the grip of its longest heat wave in recorded history. This week alone, hundreds died from the heat at the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. These bouts of extreme weather are increasing as the climate crisis worsens. By 2040, almost half the world's inhabitants are likely to experience major heat waves, 12 times more than the historic average. These pose a major threat to food security. The term crisis is one of the most frequently used words of our time. No wonder that many find it tiresome or offensive. Has there ever been a time without crises? Is there anything special about the crises of our times? Do we not downplay and underestimate the crises of the past just because they do not directly affect us? Let's face it, we cannot easily answer these questions. They are questions for the Lord of history. Violent storms are common on the Sea of Galilee, which is about 200 meters below sea level. The local terrain generates strong winds which funnel through the hills and drop down onto the lake with violent results. The wind and waves in Mark's Gospel symbolize everything that impedes Jesus' attempts to heal enmity between Jew and Gentile. The separation between them was considered part of the natural order. Yet Jesus seeks to cross to the other side in a boat to build bridges of reconciliation. God tells Job in our first reading that insight surfaces in the breaking waves of chaos. In Mark's Gospel, Jesus turns a great storm into a great calm, yet the disciples remain fearful and do not recognize the presence of God's power in Jesus. In a book called Into the Silent Land, the story of a drug addict called James reveals powerfully the full meaning of the storm gospel passage. James shares, "Prayer has shown me the calm at the center of the storm, something that is silent even when the chaos rages. Once, during a particularly difficult storm of inner chaos, something happened that James could only call a spiritual breakthrough. In his own words, he describes how one morning I was sitting in the chapel where I like to go to pray. The chaos was bad. I thought my head was going to explode. I can't really describe what happened next, but it was as though while trying to pray, I fell into hell. I stopped fighting and I just prayed there in hell. Then I felt a welling up of love within me, a love for all people who struggle, who screw up, who have been defined out of the picture, people who despair, people who are told they aren't the right race, gender, or orientation. I saw how I was part of this, how I judge people who fail and condemn people who are different. I saw how it was all tied to my self-loathing, and there I prayed in solidarity with all people who struggle. I moved beyond my self-loathing and felt one with all these people. James's life was swamped, like the disciples on the boat, and yet he experienced God's whispering voice in prayer which hushed the chaos in his life. Jesus crosses boundaries to bring liberation to those on the other side. The gospel encourages us to trust in the presence of God as we try to do the same in our lives, as we seek to understand those who are different to ourselves. The great English agitator William Cobbett once cleverly observed, "We want great alteration, but we want nothing new." We live at a time in history where the storms of life rage havoc. While it is good to let the Lord of history answer the questions about the relative significance of the crises of today, it is also important that we listen to today's chaos and respond passionately and compassionately to the plight of both our common home and our common humanity. Amen.